So, are you ready? Hi guys, and welcome back to another crochet tutorial. It's actually a crochet vlog, but it's gonna be a tutorial here as well. So I just did my night care skincare, so that's night skincare routine. So that's why I'm super glowy and all, and these like are the few minutes before Chungo is going to come home with the babies. I had like a 1 hour of me time, and I was thinking, since I'm currently crocheting like this big project, and I'm not going to share the crochet tutorial for it's a dress. Let me just drop it. It's a dress. You've probably seen it on the title anyway. It's a long dress, but I decided to make a top as well with the same pattern, and then I'm gonna share the written pattern for the dress because it's not like a big difference. It's just like the remaining part, and so I think that's very easy to follow along in a written pattern. But let me show you a little bit the process. I'm already almost done, but I always wanted to have, you know, those super long crochet dresses, and the thing is, with my height and the length of my legs, it's very difficult to always find stuff that is like until the floor, unless I buy, you know, those super expensive designer things. And so basically, yes, I thought I'd take you along while I'm crocheting this one, and I'm gonna also show you how I'm crocheting the top. I already have it in my mind, the idea, because I saw that it might look nice as a top as well. And yeah, since I already have the idea from the top right now, because usually when I do stuff for myself, I end up always changing up the things while crocheting. But now I already have the idea and everything, so I'm going to show you how I take the measurements, how I put things together and everything. So you're going to see the whole process, but for now I'm going to just take advantage of this, I think, remaining 10 minutes, half an hour, where I'm gonna be alone at home and I can just dedicate my time to crocheting. So let's go. Let me show you also where I'm now at the moment with the dress. I'm gonna try it on later one more time, but now I'm just don't want to waste time while I have the time to crochet. This is the dress, quite long already, and I guess it's already until here. So yeah, let's go and continue working. We're going to start off with the foundation chain of 25 chains. That's the length for my cup size. So you need to check how many chains you need to make. You can just start off by making the chains and then measure it. So I'm gonna just make a foundation chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and continue. So I have now 25 chains, and now I'm going to add 2 more chains, 1, 2, and make a double crochet into the third chain from the hook. So it's not this one, but this one. So, and make a double crochet. So this is our first double crochet. These 2 chains don't count as our first double crochet. So this is our first. And now I'm going to make 24 more chains until I reach the end of the foundation chain. I'm gonna make 24 more double crochet. So in each chain, 1 double crochet. I now have a total of 25 double crochet. Remember, don't count the first 2 chains as a double crochet, so only count the actual double crochets. And now here at the last chain, we're going to make 1 more double crochet into the same chain. So we have 2 double crochets in 1 chain. And then we're going to chain twice, 1, 2. So we did 2 chains, and now we're going to make 2 more double crochet into the same chain again. So 1 and 2. It looks like this now. And now we're going to make double crochets on the opposite side here. So basically we are going to, so these are 2 chains here. This one was the 25th. These are 2 double crochets. This is the 25th double crochet here. So we have 26 double crochets here in total because we made here 2. So we made 2 on the opposite side now. So we're going to make 24 more double crochets. And also I'm going to crochet along with this leftover yarn so I don't have to weave it in later. So you're gonna make a double crochet here exactly at the opposite side like this, and you're going to continue this until you reach the end of the row. And as you can see here, I'm taking the yarn with me. Now reach the end of the row. As you can see here, I have now 26 double crochets on each side. Just make sure to count them again to make sure that you have the same amount of double crochets on each side. And now we're going to start with the second row. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, turn our work, and we're going to make our first double crochet right into the first stitch. First 2 chains don't count as our first double crochet. So we're going to yarn over and make our first double crochet into into the first stitch, and we're going to continue making double crochet into each stitch until we reach this part here. So I now reached the end of this one side, and in my case I have now 26 double crochets, and in this space here where we did the 2 chains in the previous row, we're going to make 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Then we're going to chain 2 and then 2 more double crochet into this chain space. So in each row and on each side, we're going to increase double crochets by 2. So we will have, no matter the size that you're going to make, you're always going to have 2 double crochet more on each side for each row. So now we did our 2 double crochets here, and we have 26 double crochets left, or basically 26 stitches left, and we're going to make 1 double crochet into each stitch until we reach the end of the row. Just in case you're wondering where those background noises are coming from, it's this little boy here. Now you can see I finished the second row and I have one more double crochet left, so one more stitch left. So I'm gonna make the last double crochet in here. And now I have how many? 28 double crochets on each side for our second row. And so that's basically how it looks like now. And you're going to continue doing this pattern until you reach a size that is like that you like. I did my other one and I think I'm still going to add one more row. I really like how this sports bra is shaped and also the height of it. So I'm aiming to make it almost like the same height as the sports bra is. Right, Ardo? Yeah. So I finished now both parts. Let's see if the baby is able to stay by himself. At the moment I just combined the two pieces with a stitch marker, and so just to see if it's like fitting, and I opted for, like, I decided to do only 7 rows, so you can see how it looks like. And why I decided now in the end to just do 7 rows is because I'm gonna make one more row of like some type of border, so you're gonna see that later. But for now we're going to make this part here, so the part that it's going to continue to the back, and there's gonna be an open back, so just keep that in mind. But the good thing is that you can use a stitch marker, or you can already combine it if you want, to also see how much the gap behind will be at the back. So let's go and start crocheting now this part. So we have, this is the top, and we have to now crochet this way. So I have this cup now here, and we're going to chain 2. And now we're going to crochet along this edge of this cup. And since there are not really stitches here, since it's just the edge part, I'm just going to insert the hook at any random part where I can feel like I can insert it. So I do 1, 2. So I use here this one double crochet from the previous row. Here it's just like I think it's the space between the 2 rows, and then the next one is gonna be here again where we have the double crochet, and then again here the space between the 2 rows. And so I'm gonna continue this until I reach this end here, and then I'm going to show you how to continue. So I now crocheted along the border, and just for reference I have 28 double crochets. I didn't count the first 2 stitches, and it doesn't really matter how many double crochets you make. It's just good to count them so that when you make the second piece that you have the same amount of double crochets. And now we are going to make decreases. We're going to make decreases only on one side. The other side there's no decreases. I'm gonna make the decreases right here. So for that you're going to chain 2, then you're gonna turn your work. So since these first 2 chains don't count as a stitch, we are going to make the decrease now. So you're gonna yarn over, insert the hook in the first stitch, take your yarn over, pull through the yarn, pull the hook through your stitch. Then you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch. So you're not going to do anything, you're not going to continue, you're just going to insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, then you have 4 loops on the hook, and now you're going to yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the next 2 loops on the hook. So this is your first decrease, and now you're going to continue making double crochets. So this is 1 decrease. So in order to have a decrease, let's say, you're gonna have 27 double crochets instead of 28, or the amount of double crochets that you made. And so now I will have to make 26 double crochets until I reach the end of the row. So I now reached the end of the row, and this side here we're not going to do any decreases, so we're going to simply chain 2, turn our work, and make a double crochet right into the first stitch. And now we have to take in account that we have to make a decrease here at the end. So we have 27 double crochets here, so it's gonna be 26 in the next one. And since the last 2, we're gonna turn the last 2 stitches into 1 double crochet. We have to make now 24 double crochet before we're going 25 before we're going to make our decrease. So I have a total of 25 double crochets now, and here I have 2 more stitches left, and we're going to make a decrease here. So you're gonna yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, take the yarn, pull it through, then you're going to pull through the hook into the next stitch, pull through the yarn, and then when you have 4 loops on the hook, you're gonna yarn over, pull through 3 loops, and then you're gonna yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. So we have our second decrease. Now we're gonna move over to the next row. We're gonna chain 2, and we're gonna do the same thing as we did in this row here, not the previous row, but this one here. So we're gonna do right at the beginning the decrease, so the same thing as we did here, and then continue with double crochets. And also here again we did already 1. We need to have now 25 double crochets in total, so you're gonna have to make 24 double crochets until the end of the row. Like, that's my case. So depending on how many double crochets you did in the beginning. I can't believe it's done now. But the funny thing is that always when I finish a project, I have so much patience for doing all that work, but then the leftover yarns, I'm so lazy. And actually it's very sad because since I'm very sloppy at weaving in leftover yarns, some of the works they don't look good by the time. So are you ready? So I just put on some stuff as well so that it might look a little bit better. But yeah, I'm actually pretty satisfied. I don't know if you can catch everything of the dress, but I'm definitely gonna make some better video in a better location. But I need to say I'm happy with the outcome for this being my first dress, because there are of course some things to improve. So basically, this I kind of knew, it's that it's a little bit hard to walk, but I can still walk. Like, can I can still walk. Baby twins. I can still walk, so it's still okay. But it's not the most comfortable thing. But I mean, that's for many dresses as well that you just buy. So, and the other thing is that it's still very see-through, even though I didn't do the mesh stitch here. So I'm gonna wear it with those, you know, skirts, mini skirts that you can wear under other dresses. And yeah, so I just need to find one that it's like pretty close to this color, because the white one might be too big of a contrast. Here, this thing, the back side, I actually planned to do a, like, you know, to close it as I'm going to do for the top as well. But I think I'm gonna keep it like this, so that's why if I would do it again, I would just decrease even more. So maybe do double decrease so that it goes down even more, so that it doesn't have this, because this is actually just meant for, you know, for closing it. I'm gonna show you in the top how I think. And yeah, other than that, everything is fine. I would use a small hook as I am using for the top as well, so that way also it will be less see-through. So probably I would recommend using a small hook for the cups and for this part here, and for this one and the part here, like the mesh stitch, you can actually just use this hook, because the bigger hook I used 3.5 millimeters, and for the top I'm going to use 2.5 millimeters. So yeah, but I mean, so if you're gonna wear it in summer and maybe on the beach, or like, you know, just beside the beach when you go into a cafe, at a like a beach cafe or something like this, you can wear it, you have your bikini under. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just use it, wear it during holiday place. We move now downstairs. I finished with the cups and the back on both sides, and here I just did until I finished the yarn of the other one, because it was not a full yarn. So I did 14 rows, and I did 14 rows on this side as well. And now so just do it as long as you want the back to be open. And then now, next step, we're going to attach those two together. Make sure when you're attaching them that the decreases are on the both same side and not upside down like I did. So here we're gonna attach, and I'm gonna show you how to do it now. Galardo. So you can use a needle, but you can also use a hook. I'm using the hook because then I don't need to cut off the yarn. And I'm going to make sure decrease on the same side. And now we're gonna take our yarn and we're going to attach. I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna use the last stitch here. We have here this chain space here where we have 2 chains, and I'm gonna insert the hook here right in the stitch before the chain space, and I'm gonna attach the yarn. like this, and then I'm going to insert the hook again into the same stitch, and I'm going to insert the hook into the same equivalent stitch for the other cup, and then I'm just gonna do a chain. Now I'm going to insert the hook into the chain space for both sides, take the yarn and make a single crochet. I'm gonna make one more single crochet into this chain space, and then I'm simply going to make one more single crochet by inserting the hook into the next stitch here and into the same stitch at the back side as well, at the second, so that we're using both cups. Single crochet, chain one, and then you can cut off the yarn like this, and then pull through. And don't worry about this yarn, because this we're going to weave in right now when we're going to do the border. I'm going to make the border, and the whole border consists in only single crochet. So all single crochet along the border. Here, this is the downside. Here, the flat, the straight part is the downside. This is the upper side. So here we're going to make, I'm gonna start here, gonna make single crochet along here until I reach this part here. Then I'm gonna just continue here. I'm gonna take the yarn with me, continue this part, also single crochet, then go up here, do single crochet, go up here, the decrease part, single crochet, and here I'm gonna meet you later, because here we're going to make like some type of nice border that looks a little bit different and not just single crochet. So in order to make the single crochet, just chain one and insert again just where you feel like it looks nice, the hook, and make a single crochet. I always insert it right where I have like a hole, and like this. And you might want to count also these single crochets, because actually it's not that big of a deal if you have a different amount of single crochets on each sides of like this back part until the cup. But I would suggest to do it, and I will do it, because then when we're doing the like the bodice part here, it's gonna be nice if we have, you know, like a very symmetric shirt which has exactly the same amount of stitches on the left and right side. So yeah, make the single crochets, count them until here, then count them until here, and then make sure that this part and this part is the same thing here. And I'm gonna meet you then when you are here at the upper part where you have the decrease, and down here, this part here, you're gonna stop, and then here we're gonna make a nice border. I now did this border here. For reference, if you by chance are doing exactly the same size as I'm doing, it's 28 single crochets for the back side here. Then on the cup I have 37, again 37 here, 28 again here I didn't count, but I think it should be 15, right? And then here 28 again, because since it's like the counterpart, it's just a decrease. And now here we're going to start making the border. You're gonna see. We're going to start by doing one single crochet into the first stitch. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, we're gonna skip, and then we're going to make 5 double crochet into the third one. So we did 5 double crochet into the same stitch, and now we're going to skip 2 stitches again. Make sure to see here the first stitch is very close to the to the previous one. So 1, 2, and here 1 single crochet. So you're gonna continue this, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and 5 double crochet into the third stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then skip 2 stitches and 1 single crochet. And you're gonna continue this pattern, this sequence. You can see the border, it looks like this now, until you reach here, the middle part, like the end of this the first cup. And here it could be that you're not gonna finish evenly, so that's why I'm gonna show you how to make it here. I reached the end of this first cup. It looks like this, and I was pretty lucky that I was able to finish with a single crochet exactly, like almost at the end. But it could be that you're gonna finish much earlier and that you don't have the space to make one more of these like bubbles, or how do you call it, and then you're just gonna skip the last bubble that cannot fit in and just gonna do single crochet until you reach like this border here. So I'm gonna do here 1 more single crochet, and so that I have this symmetrically, I'm gonna move over, I have here 2 single crochet, right? So I'm gonna move over and do here 1 single crochet, 1 more, and then start making these half circles. Maybe that's the better name instead of bubble. And now I'm gonna make those half circles. I'm gonna skip 2 stitches and make 5 single crochet into the same stitch. And I'm gonna continue this until I reach the end of the cup. And as soon as I reach the end of the cup, here I still have to do single crochet around the decrease and along this place here, and this is where we started then. So I now finished making, the border here. Looks like this. Then I crocheted here and until here, and where I arrived at the point where we started. And now it's a good time to try it on again. And in this case here, compared to the dress that I made, I made it with a bigger hook, so that's why it was larger. So it was basically when I put it on like this, so I could really close it until here on my back. But in this case it's a little bit shorter, so it's gonna be like this. And I was thinking about how I could continue if I just make an open back top or just close it, but I think I'm gonna close it because I would prefer to have that type of top, like a top that it's closed on the back. I'm going to do now this part here, the mesh stitch. So let's simply start with two chains, and then let's make 1 double crochet right into the first stitch, and then we're going to make the mesh stitch. And that's very simple. It's just like chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and make a double crochet into the next one, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch, chain 1, and so on. So you want to continue this mesh stitch here. You can see it's like mesh stitch until you reach this part here, because this is where we're going to start making that shape that I made for the dress as well. So continue until here, and then I'm going to show you how to continue. So I now reached this middle part here. And here we are going, you can see here, it's again super coincidence, but what we're going to do here is we have like the last mesh stitch, like double crochet, skip one, double crochet, and then here we have four, exactly these four stitches exactly at the middle. So this is the middle, here are two and here are two, and we're going to make here exactly 4 double crochets. So you're not going to skip any stitches or make any chains between the double crochets, so just 4 double crochets. And after making these 4 double crochets, we're just going to continue with the mesh stitch. I reached now the end of the row. As you can see here, one more time, we have our 4 double crochets here, which is the first part of the design, and here I finished with 1 double crochet. And now we are going to chain 2, turn our work, and make a double crochet right into the first stitch. And now we're going to continue with the mesh stitch, and we're going to do this, the beginning and the end, it's the same for the next few rows. So I'm going to show you how to just make the middle part for now. But the thing is that at some point I'm going to combine the two ends so that it's like a shirt and not just a wrap top. So you will continue the mesh stitch until you reach like 1 double crochet before these 4 double crochets. And here is the part where we're going to make our 4 double crochets. So we made 1 here, then we're gonna make 2 inside the chain space. So we're going to enter the hook inside into the chain space twice for 2 double crochets. And now we're going to make 1 more double crochet into the first stitch here. So it looks like this now. So now we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to make the same thing that we did here, just on the opposite side. So on the left side of these 4 double crochet from the previous row. So we're gonna do 1 double crochet into this last stitch here, then we're going to make 2 into the chain space, and then 1 into the stitch like this. And now we're going to continue making the mesh stitch. So hi guys. Let me just give you an update about how things are going at the moment with the top. And the thing is, like, sorry, but I just continued doing the top because I was actually starting to get worried about the amount of yarn that I need and that I have. And actually I realized it's almost done. Like really, it's like 2 more rows and the neck part, you know, like the holders, shoulder holders, and then it should be done. But the thing is, I realized that this yarn is slightly different color than this one, and yeah, the thing is, you couldn't see, like I couldn't see it while I was crocheting in the evening, and then in the morning I realized, okay, it's totally different. So I just removed the rest. I ordered the yarn. I decided to make things good so that I can actually wear it, because I mean, I could just continue crocheting with the slightly different color, but then I might not wear it. I'm gonna wait until the real color arrives. And since I didn't explain properly this part here, I'm going to explain this on just like a scratch yarn. And this gives me also the opportunity to show you how to make, you know, from the dress, it's gonna be the same, like the skirt part, it's actually the same pattern like this design here, just that there are like many of them throughout the whole skirt. So I'm gonna show you the whole part. So I'm gonna maybe show you on like maybe 2 examples, so you can use that for the skirt as well. And the thing, yeah, that I wanted to show you guys here, because that's also a thing that I had to try on, and actually it fits perfectly. And so yeah, what I did here is, in the tutorial you could see that I did these first 2 rows here, then I did on the 3rd row I did the increase just on the side here and at the end here. If this increase really has to be done or not, I don't know, but I just did it. And then, so we have 3rd row, the increase, 4th row is where I started to like combine it. So this, the 4th row, I started normally, and then at the end I just made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chains, and then combined with this beginning of the row with a slip stitch. And then into the next row, the 5th row, I chained 3 this time, because the first, it's going to count as our double crochet. Then I just did again the mesh stitch, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. And I did that until I reached the end of the 5th row, which is here. And then I just always continued doing the mesh stitch along the chains that we have here. So there is a total of 3 double crochets with always 1 space in between for like the new amount that I created in order to have a closed top. Now let me show you how I made this design. So let's make I'm going to just make a foundation chain, but you are going to continue at the part where you left, or you're just going to, if you're doing the skirt, you're just going to follow along, or maybe you're gonna just want to practice first so you get like an idea to how to make this design, so you can just do a row, like a long line of a long foundation chain. In this case, we have to keep in mind that if there's going to be another design of this, let's call it pineapple. It looks like a pineapple, right? Or strawberry. It's going to be like the next one, it's going to be exactly here where it's like the part that it's most on the outside. Here I have always 1 chain space and then the next design. So I have to count the width of this design. It's from here to here. So the length of 1 is 29 chains. So if I'm going to do 2, it's gonna be, let's do 30, just to be sure. 60, I'm sorry. Let's pretend we're going to start here. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 double crochets with always 1 space in between. So I'm not gonna count the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we're going to make like like 4. And we're going to continue to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we need to keep in mind, we're gonna start here over again. 6, this is gonna start again. So it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Double crochets with always one space in between, just 4 double crochets. So here we have again this part here. So this is our second one. And now we're going to continue making double crochets. You can test if you have enough spaces between. Is we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. So we have to count from both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then exactly 1 in between. So we are perfect. So if you're going to continue making the skirt, so you're gonna do again this, repeat again the same thing and make another 4 double crochets. Or in case you're just doing this one, you're not going to do that. You're just going to continue making the mesh stitch until you reach the end of the row. You're gonna change you're gonna turn your work and then continue with the next row. We're going to chain 3. In this case, I'm chaining 3 because I'm gonna turn my work and then just use this as my first chain space, let's say. And now you're going to make double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 until you reach the part where you have, like right before you made this 4 double crochet. So you're going to make until here. And now we're going to make 2 double crochet into the chain space, 1 double crochet into the stitch. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, make 1 double crochet into the stitch here, the last one. We're going to just skip 2 stitches, make 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochet into the chain space and 1 into the stitch. Now we're gonna continue the simple mesh stitch until you reach this part here again. Here we have the 4 double crochets, 1 double crochet before. We're gonna make that until there. We're going to make the simple mesh stitch. And now we're going to repeat the thing what we did here. So 2 double crochet into the chain space, 1 into the stitch, chain 2, we are skipping 2 stitches, make 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 2 double crochet into the chain space, and 1 into the stitch. And now continue the simple mesh stitch until you reach the end of the row. Or in case you're gonna make more for the skirt, you're just gonna make until you reach like the next panel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3. Okay, so I'm going to just chain 3, turn my work, and now for the 3rd row, we're going to make our mesh stitch again, always like right before the part where we did the 4 stitches in the previous row. That's here. And now we're gonna do the same thing. 2 double crochets into the chain space, 1 into the stitch. And now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, make 1 double crochet into the chain space here where we did the 2 chains. Then we're going to chain 3, and now we're going to make 1 more double crochet into the same chain space. And now we're going to chain 3 again and make a double crochet into this stitch here. So we're going to skip these 2 stitches, double crochet here. Then we're going to make 2 double crochet into the chain space, So basically this is the middle part, and this always mirrors this part here. And one into the stitch. And now we're going to continue with the mesh stitch until we reach our next panel. So I reached the second part. We're gonna repeat the same thing and then mesh stitch until we reach the end of the row. Chain 3, turn your work. We are on our 4th row now. We're gonna do our mesh stitch always until we reach that part of where we have like 4 double crochets. Then we're going to repeat the same thing. 2 double crochet into the chain space, 1 into the stitch, and now we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. In the previous row we did double crochet, chain 3, double crochet into the same stitch. So here we're going to make 8 double crochet with 1 chain space in between. So let me show you. Make a double crochet into this chain space here. Then we're going to chain 1, then 1 more double crochet. We have now 2 double crochets, chain 1, 1 more double crochet into the chain space, same chain space, chain 1, 1 more, we have 4. Now we have to do 4 more and always 1 chain in between, 7 and 8. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make those 4 double crochets again. So right here, 2 into the chain space and 1 into the stitch. And it looks like this now. We're going to do our mesh stitch until we reach our next pineapple. And we're going to repeat the same thing. I'm not going to show you again the same thing. It's just the same thing. I'm going to show you how to continue with the 6th row. Going to chain 3, or I'm doing that. You are doing depending on what you are making at the moment, which part. And now we are going to repeat the same thing until we reach that part of 4 double crochets. And now we're here. So here now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we have all those spaces between the double crochets, and we're going to make a single crochet into the chain space. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we move over to the next chain space, single crochet. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, move over to the next and make a single crochet. Chain 3 again and move over to the next one and make a single crochet. And we're gonna do that until we did this for each chain space. And now we're going to again chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to make here at the end of the previous 4 double crochets, we're going to make a double crochet here into the stitch. 2 into the chain space. And 1 into the stitch again, like this. And continue your mesh stitch until you reach the next panel. And continue the same thing that we did here. So let's move over to our next row. We're gonna chain 3, turn. There's not a lot of mesh stitch left, so right away we're gonna make those 4 double crochet And now we're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to check, this is this chain space here of those 3 chains that we did in the previous row. We're gonna make a single crochet into this chain space. Then we're going to chain 3 and move over to the next chain space, make a single crochet, chain 3, move over to the next chain space, single crochet, and so on until you did this into each of these chain spaces like this. I was a little bit sloppy here, I'm sorry for that. And now we are going to, again, like we did here, chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then do our 4 double crochets right here. For the dress that I did, the white one, I actually had now my next panel to start, so I combined these 4 double crochets already for the next one. So basically what I did here, 1 chain in between and then the next 4 double crochets, and then move over to the next panel. So for the next row, now we reached the most extreme point of our design. So now we're going to move backwards with our 4 double crochets. So now here we're going to chain 1, skip 2 stitches, and make like this our mesh stitch. And here we have our 8 chains on the from the previous row, and here we're going to make 3 double crochets into this space here. Just make sure that they're as much as on the side as possible. If you cannot manage to do that while crocheting, you can do it like move them over later like this. And now we're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here we're just going to do the same thing. Insert your hook into the chain space of these 3 chains from the previous row, make a single crochet and chain 3, single crochet into the next one, and so on until you did that for each chain space. And then we're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we're going to make 3 right here on the end, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th we're going to make into the stitch. Move that a little bit like this, and you can see we have again the same thing on the opposite sides. And here we're going to do our mesh stitch until we reach our next panel. So the next row we're going to do again our mesh stitch until here, past the place where we did the 4 double crochets on the previous row, and we're going to do exactly the same thing as we did in the previous row. Here we have our 6 chains from the previous row. We're gonna make 3 double crochet in this chain space here and make sure that it's on the side as much as possible. So we'll move it on the side after making them like this. Then we're going to chain 6 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again make our single crochet into the chain space, chain 3, and single crochet into the next chain space. Continue this thing until we did that for each chain space here already. And now chain 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then again the same thing, 3 double crochet into this chain space. When you get the hang of it and you memorized it, it's so fast. So it doesn't really take a long time to make this part here. So also if you, in case you're afraid to do the the dress because you feel like it's gonna take a long time. This part here is very quickly done, so that's why it doesn't take that much time. And it's very repetitive, so after the second pineapple, you know this design by heart. And you don't need to like look at the pattern. So like this. Now we're going to just continue with the mesh stitch until we reach the next pineapple. I'm just gonna call it pineapple now, and then repeat the same thing again. So until now to the next row, we are doing the same thing as before. We always have just like one mesh stitch more than the previous row now. Before it was less, now it always one more. So do the mesh stitch until you reach this part where we have the chains on the previous row, like here. And now we're going to make again 3 double crochets into this chain space, like this. And now here we have 3 chain spaces left here. 1, 2, 3. In this case now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to make 1 single crochet into the first chain space. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Then we're going to make 1 double crochet into the next chain space. Then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Make 1 more double crochet into the same chain space. And then chain 2. Make a single crochet into the third chain space. And then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And make our 3 double crochets. Move them a little bit into the side and 1 double crochet into the stitch. It looks like this now. We're almost done. And now we're going to continue with our mesh stitch until we reach the next pineapple. The next row, we're going to again first do our mesh stitch until we reach that part, that usual part. 1 more mesh stitch in this row as well. So here, like this, we now are going to make again 3 double crochet, like this. Now we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to check we have those 2 double crochets into the same stitch in the previous row, and we have like 3 chains in between. We're going to make into this chain space 1 double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1 again, and then make our 3 double crochet into this chain space here. 1, 2, 3, and 1 double crochet into the stitch. And then continue our mesh stitch until we reach the next pineapple. And we're going to repeat the same thing again. So now we're basically on our last row. In case you're doing the dress, it's the last row for this, to make this pattern, this design here. And then we're gonna start over again. So basically we are doing our mesh stitch until we reach our usual part. So we did the last mesh stitch right above those 4 double crochets here. And now we are going to make here, we have our double crochet from the previous row here. So we're going to make 1 double crochet into the chain space here, Then move over and make 1 double crochet into the next chain space, and then 1 double crochet into the stitch. And we now made like the counterpart of these first 4 double crochets. And if you're continuing to make the skirt, this part here is going to be this row here. I hope it makes sense. So now we're going to chain 1 and continue making our mesh stitch until we reach the next pineapple. And then we're going to repeat the same thing. And we are done. In case you're doing the skirt, you are going to continue making the length that you like. And so you're going to start with the next row, and this will be the same thing that we did in row 2, and you're going to start repeating each row in that sequence. And in case you did this top and you said like, now I don't want to make a skirt, I just want to have, no, I don't want to make a dress, I just want to have this. Here you can see this is the last row that I did here. This part here, where is it? Here, this part here is here. So I made 1 more row of just mesh stitch, and then 1 row of just double crochets, and then 1 more row of mesh stitch. And I forgot to mention here, let me open this part here again, right after the last row of the pineapple design, here at the part where we did the 4 double crochets, here you can see they're quite wide apart because we just ignored 1 stitch here, but we are just keeping to ignore it. So we have here 2 stitches, right? So we're going to just make 1 chain space and 1 into here like this. This is just for the last row, right? For the ending part. In case you're continuing, you're just going to make here 4, and here the 2 chains that we did here. So after a few days break, I'm back on it again, and you see, black color. I wanted to make a little black short dress. Yes, you say it like this, right? This order, or it's different. Black little short, black short dress. How to say hi? So yeah, whatever, but it's turning out to become a top as well, and I changed so much during this process. So I wanted to have a very, very simple, like just a line, like a chain of a line of foundation chains as the like straps here, but it turned out to not look great, and I feel like this now looks the best. But once I saw how this looks like, because I just wanted to simply close it at the back like this, it looks nice like this as well. I also like the fact that I decided to continue making this shell design on the holders as well here. So it looks like it's continuing, and what I actually now want to do is I'm going to continue this part here. My plan was to make 1 long line, that's why it's so long, a long line here, another long line on the back, and then just make a bow at the top of the shoulder. But I think I'm gonna do that for another version of this top, or it's gonna be finally the dress. But for this top here now, I have one other idea that I really want to try out. So I also closed the back here. It fits perfectly. So actually it's perfect how it turned out like this, and I'm planning to make this longer, then connect it directly with the back part, continue the back part so we have that beautiful shell design on the back as well. Let's see how this will turn out, and if it turns out well, I'm gonna share how to do it. So the idea is the following. We have this part. This is the front part. You have to excuse me, but there might be some dog hair because it's the time of the year where Sarangi is like losing her hairs. So the idea here, this, I just added it here like this. You can see this is the very end of the cup. This is the end of the cup. And here, I started here, I made one chain. I think it was 100 chains or 100 chains, yes. I went up here, this side. Then I crocheted back one row of single crochet. Then I crocheted up one row of this mesh stitch. And then back one row of single crochet again. So here, since we have the mesh stitch at the beginning here, since we have in the previous row the mesh stitch, I did single crochet into the stitch, one single crochet in the chain space, and so on until I reached this part here. I always connected then this part with the actual top by using a slip stitch. I'm gonna show it then later on the other side, but I'm gonna show it very quickly, so that's why I'm gonna explain it like this. And then once I arrived here, I decided, oh, the shell stitch would look nice here as well, so I did it, and I went up here until this part here. I did one more shell right on the top, which I'm going to delete now because I'm gonna do it differently, but just in case you want to do the other version. And then here I wanted to go down here as well with the sash stick, but I think it's gonna be too much. So now let's combine, like I'm gonna tell you the idea what I have here in mind now. So I was checking how it looks like if it would be like this, and I was like, oh, it would look great. Yeah.